Hey everyone, it's Jack here. Today I want to talk to you about changing behaviors that you have or you don't have that you want to add in. This is a video about how to instantly change anything about yourself, a behavior-wise, through intelligent betting systems. That's what I call it to make myself sound smart. But so really what it is just wages, stakes. You're creating stakes on things. So maybe I'm gonna give you a bit of a sales pitch on my video of like why to watch it, why, what are you gonna get out of the next like 20 minutes, which is probably how long this video is gonna go for. So you wanna change something. You wanna learn how to do something. Maybe you really wanna learn a musical instrument. Maybe you really wanna get in shape. Maybe you really want to stop smoking. Maybe you want to stop drinking. Maybe you want to stop drinking coffee. Maybe you want to do this. Maybe you want to do that. Maybe you want to not do this. Maybe you want to not do that. Essentially, that's what I'm talking about, is not doing things or doing things that you do or do not want to do. Using wages. Now, this is a serious topic, guys. This is all about self-improvement. I'm really big on self-improvement. I care a lot about it. It's probably the most passionate thing I have in my life is making myself better. When I see myself in the future, I don't think of goals like be ultra rich. I think of things like, what kind of person do I want to be like? You know, I want to be a person who's like really fit, and I want to speak multiple languages and be really, you know, culturally sensitive and intelligent, these kind of things. That's like my goal in life, is to craft a certain kind of person out of myself. And so that all comes back to self-improvement, and that's why I'm so passionate about it, and that's why I'm giving you this video. Because this is a tool set that I've found that it's so damn good. It's just so good at getting things done that you want to do. Wages. All right. What's a wager? So a wager, excuse me, I've got something in my eye. What's a wager? A wager is a stake. It's a bet. It is money on the line, or a thing on the line of value that you have to someone that you care about, who is close to you, that you want to be accountable to. Yeah, that's what it is. There's nothing more to it. And it's for changing a behavior. Either adding in something or subtracting something, essentially. So actually, onto that point, there are 4 different types of wages. So you've got additive behaviors, like practice the piano every day. That's an additive behavior. Or you've got subtractive behaviors, like don't smoke cigarettes. That's a subtractive behavior. But then you've also got 2 more. You've got transformational behaviors. So say you want to start a new diet. Well, you already have a diet, you already eat food, so that would be just transforming a behavior. Like, I want to move to an intermittent fasting diet. And then there's also subjective things that you can make bets on. Like, tomorrow I want to have a productive day. Well, what is productive? That's like such a subjective thing, right? But what it comes back to is having a clear criteria for what it means to do that thing, for what it means to have a productive day. I did this one actually, and I made my criteria to complete most items on my to-do list. I made like a wicked big to-do list, because if it wasn't wicked big, then it wouldn't have been that productive. So complete most items on the to-do list, and complete all critically important items. So I like listed which ones were top priority things, and I had to complete all of those ones. And those top priority things were like things that I'd been putting off and pushing back for ages. And so it was super awesome that I completed all those things, and I completed most items on my to-do list. There was like only 2 things, and at the end of the day I was like crossing off like 15 different things that I did. I had a great productive day. Anyway, it's a subjective thing, but you can do it. It's great. All right, moving on. So I've given you the sales pitch, and now you're like, whoa, Jack, whoa, what are these wages? Like, wow. Now I'm going to tell you some tips. I'm going to give you some tips on doing the wages. And then I'm going to tell you about mine that I've been doing. So tip number 1, you need to make the wager real. You need to make it big enough. It needs to be a big enough commitment that you're going to be like damn scared of losing this bet. And so you're not going to lose. You are not going to lose. For example, I have been addicted to coffee since I started drinking it like 10 years ago. And only once have I ever got off coffee. Only once. For like 3 months, I got off coffee one time during university. Now I was like straight back on it. And it was like the biggest thing in my life. The biggest change that I needed to have was to break this addictive cycle. And so I made a wager. And of course, if I had have made it like $50, if I'd accidentally drank a coffee, I probably would have broke that wager. I probably would have accidentally drank a coffee for $50. But no, I made it $250, which I just can't afford at the moment. So I'm not drinking coffee. That's basically what it comes down to. Tip number 2, you've got to make the time periods for your wager as long as they need to be. So if you're trying to subtract an addictive behavior that you've got, you need to make the time period long so that you can really reprogram yourself. Because some addictive things stay in your mind for ages. Like just think about people that you might be addicted to. Like maybe you broke up with your ex, who is now your ex. That you might be addicted to that person, and just think about how long it can take to get over that addictive the thoughts that just keep coming and coming. So make the time period long enough. 1 month for quitting something is it's a good time period, like at least 1 month. And if you're adding in something, make the time period a bit shorter, because you're making a bet. And if you don't, say you want to bet, okay, I'm going to practice the piano an hour every day for the next month. How do you know what's going to happen in the next month? You might not really know what's going to happen in the next month. So you can't really make that bet. It's a little bit risky. I would recommend, if you're adding behaviors, make the time period shorter. And if you're subtracting behaviors, make the time period longer. Just from my experience. Okay, tip number 3. You need to flesh out the terms of the wager in detail. So, for example, if you want to quit sugar, which I recommend because it's so awesome, you need to make the terms specific and in enough detail that this structure, it has structure to it. Structure. You need to structure the terms in detail so that you know exactly what the boundaries are for success and failure. For example, one structure that you could use is that you can't have any food with added processed sugar in the ingredients list. So if you intentionally eat something with that in the ingredients list, because you have to check. It's your obligation to check. If you don't check, somebody else checks and they're like, then you lose. So you have to check. And then if you see it, then you know. And then if you decide to eat it anyway, then you lose. So added sugar in the ingredients list. However, if somebody gave you some food and hey, try this, and and it had sugar, that's not intentional and you wouldn't lose. So it has to be really specific. Otherwise, you don't really know what you're doing. Okay, this is a good one. Tip number 4. I want you to make a big commitment to exert a small change in behavior. Now, sometimes you sort of can't do it small. You sort of got to go big and big. But if you're adding in, if you want to quit smoking or something, that could be a huge change for you. But if you're adding in a behavior, I like big commitment. Big commitment means you're betting a lot of money on the line or betting something of value to yourself, That's the big commitment, to make a small change, which means that you're only going to practice this new thing for 10 minutes a day. It's really easy. Really, really easy to succeed. Big commitment, small change. Tip number 5 is even if you make a wager to subtract something, like don't drink coffee or don't smoke cigarettes or whatever, add it to your to-do list as a don't do this thing item, like a do not do list. Because that way you're reinforcing this thing every single day. And if you don't write to-do lists, whatever, you don't have to add it. But if you do like to-do lists like me, write it down, because you're reinforcing it every day, and then at the end of the day you can cross it off and it feels productive. It's great. You can feel productive just by writing something down on a piece of paper and then putting a strike through it, and that makes you feel good. Try it out. It's great. And my last tip number 6, is if you don't have a buddy that is close to you, use an internet wagering service. That I'm pretty sure they have them online. I'm pretty sure you can go online and use one, like an internet accountability buddy. Yeah. Okay. Now I'll give you some tips. Now I like to do this thing where I talk about critical success factors. These are the factors that are critically important for succeeding in acquiring this new skill and using it successfully to change behaviors in your life. First one is that when you make a wager, you have integrity and you value your own honesty as a person, which means that if you fail, for yourself, you will pay the money or lose the object because it's for you. You have to punish yourself. That's the pain. That's the stick which makes this whole system work. Honesty, so important. If you're not an honest person, forget about it. Yeah, this is honesty to yourself, not to the other person, it's to yourself. And narrow social distance. These two are kind of bundled together. Honesty, narrow social distance. And what I mean by that is the person that you make a wager to is close enough that you see them every day, and you have to look them in the face. And if you made a wager, like what I made a wager, don't drink coffee, to my friend who lives with me. We live together, and if I made a coffee, I have to look him in the face and lie. Yeah, didn't drink coffee. I couldn't do that. Honestly, I just couldn't do it. So I would have to pay the money, and that is so powerful. Really, it's simple. It's not even tangible things. I'm betting money that's numbers in my bank account upon my word, which is just words, to a person that lives with me, and I just literally cannot do this thing now. I cannot do it. Absolutely not. So powerful. The second critical success factor is the planning and the calculated risks. So you have to plan correctly and you have to make calculated risks. So if you're gonna add something and like practice a new thing every day for a long time, like a month, every day for a month, you have to calculate the risk of failing any single day during that month. So yeah, just think about that. It's important. And the third critical success factor is to set a clear criteria for success, for the boundaries of success and failure. Clear criteria. It's gotta be clear. And you gotta shake on it and write it up, and it's like a contract. And you know, like legal contracts are so specific in the language, they all have definitions of everything. This is actually really good because it's forcing you to be really specific about your goal. And specific goals, you know what they say? You achieve them. Specific goals, you get them done. Laissez-faire goals, they fly away, they float away in the wind. So that's basically it. I'm gonna leave you with some ideas for some wagers that I just think are cool. Okay, number 1, no swearing. Stop swearing. If you are a person that enjoys a good swear, then $10 for every swear word, $10. I know that sometimes it's fun to swear as a joke when you're joking around with your mates, but there's other ways to express your ideas with just as much humor. You don't have to swear. $10. Number 2 is work out every day, 20 minutes. You want to get in shape? 20 minutes every day for 7 days, and if you miss a day, it's $50. Try that one out. And number 3 is no added sugar. Try this one out, no added sugar. Just take sugar out of your diet. Try it for 1 week and see what happens. Alright guys, I know that was huge, that was a bomb. A lot of things to take in, but I really encourage you to try them out. And if you're real keen, just write in the comments what you want to do, and it'll help you with the accountability thing. Just to get it out there, just say I want to do this, and make it specific. You know, write down a specific little wager that you might want to do in the comments, and I'll give you some tips on it. I'll try and critique it a little bit. They're like little contracts with people, and it can really help if you have someone who can maybe poke some holes in it. These are specific goals, like super specific, because there's money on the line. It's great. It's great. So try it out, and if you even do it, like, get back to me and write in the comments how it went. I'm really interested in I've been doing this for just over a month now, and I've racked up heaps of different wages, and they've transformed my life. Honestly, I'm gonna keep doing it for as long as I live. I'll make the wager right now. I'm gonna keep using this tool for the rest of my life. Thanks for watching. This is Jack from Experimental Jack, and I'm gonna go to bed. Good night.